For my first fall paint stick DIY, I'm going to start with two Dollar Tree box-style wall hangings. After removing the hangers from the back, I took some wood glue and glued two of the boxes together, then secure with a clip and put aside for the glue to dry. I'm also going to be using two of these Dollar Tree wood paddles, as well as 2 packs of the large paint sticks from Lowe's. And then I'll also need my little miter box and Dollar Tree saw. And all I'm going to do is take my paint sticks and I'm going to actually measure those on the box. These boxes are all different sizes, so I can't really give like a size that I need it to cut. I'm just going to go ahead and lay the stick alongside where I want the piece and then mark it off and then just use my miter box and saw to cut. And then I'll just go back with some of my Titebond glue and add the 2 short pieces first. And then I'll take another paint stick and again measure out where I need to cut by placing it right on the box. And then just mark that spot and cut it with my miter saw. And then I'll go ahead and glue on my 2 long pieces and set the whole thing aside to dry. Once all the glue has dried on the bottom piece, I'm going to go ahead and attach the paddles to each side. And I'm going to just do that with some, again, of my Titebond glue and just put it right there on the paddles, and then I'm going to line them up and attach the 2 sides. Then I'm going to put a heavy object, this paint can, on one side. I'm going to use a bottle of Mod Podge on the other in order to hold the 2 paddles in place while they dry. And while that glue is setting up, I'll go ahead and cut 4 more pieces of both my long and short sides. Next, I'll take one of my short pieces. I'm going to add some glue there to the bottom. I'm also going to add a little glue there to the side of the paddle. And then I'll place that piece right on top, fit it right in there. Make sure I get any of that excess glue off. And then I'll proceed to do the second, another piece on top of that, another short piece on top of that. So I should have 3 short pieces on each side, and I'll go ahead and do that on the other side as well. And then once that glue has dried on the sides, I'm going to go ahead and start applying my long side pieces. Again, just adding some of my Titebond glue to the bottom or top there in between, let's put it that way, in between the 2 pieces, and then also some glue there on the sides. And I'll just do another 2 pieces to the front and another 2 pieces to the back, again just holding them in place with something heavy until that glue sets up. For the handle, I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree skewers. Now I just cut the piece down. I couldn't use the dowel because it was a little bit short, but the skewer worked out just fine. And I'm going to then take some of these beads that I've had on hand for like forever and finally use them. And I'm just going to thread the beads onto the dowel or to the cut piece of skewer. And then I'm going to add some glue to the holes in the paddle. And then I'll place one end of the skewer through the one hole. Then I kind of have to push the skewer all the way in so that the beads will fit. And then the skewer kind of pops out the other end. Then I line the beads up and then I push the skewer back through so that it's holding on both ends of the poles. And then I'm again going to set everything aside to dry. And this is what it looks like when it's finished. I wanted to show you what it looked like in the natural color. It looks kind of cute like that, but I did want to give it a kind of fall color. So I'm going to take some of this terracotta paint that is just regular terracotta colored craft paint, and I'm going to thin it down probably by almost half because I just want to create a stain for the wood, and I don't want to necessarily paint it terracotta, just want to kind of give it a nice stain. So it's very liquefied craft paint, and you can see where it's just kind of staining the paint and leaving the wood grain. And I'm going to do that all over the box, including the beads and the little paddles on the side. And then here's what it looks like after I've painted the stain all over the box. And then I want to go back with some white chalk paint on a dry brush and just give it a little dry brush finish as well. Then I'm going to take some burnt umber and also some black craft paint and just do a little edging around the edges and the corners and in between, just to give it a little further distressed look. I want to fill my little caddy with some pumpkins, and so what I'm going to do is take these Dollar Tree pumpkins and I'm going to remove the little flowers and beading, and I want to create that look that you see so often now at Kirkland's and Hobby Lobby, that kind of multicolored look. And all I'm going to do is take my little Dollar Tree pumpkin and do a little dry brush white chalk paint over the top. For the stem, I'm going to use a piece of rolled up corn husk that I painted brown. And then I'm going to fill my caddy with some of this garland that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to kind of just have some pieces stick up and hang over the edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my pumpkins and fill those in on top. And then here you can see the finished project. So cute and festive. A great little rustic caddy to bring just that perfect farmhouse touch and a great cozy feel to your home for the fall season. For this next project, you can either use paint sticks or, if you can find them, the 15-inch construction shims. I really like using the 15-inch shims because they are easier to work with, but paint sticks work great here too. Other supplies I need for this project include this Dollar Tree basket and 2 dowels, 2 packs of Dollar Tree Shore Fresh round containers with the lid, and it's actually the lids that I'm going to be using for this project, and then also a spatula, all of which I'm going to be painting with some black spray paint. Now I'm also going to use 4 of these little round containers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be using the lids, and I'm going to just snip off that little tab there on the edge. Now, once all my pieces were painted, I just went ahead to go and assemble my little wagon. And all I'm going to do is drill a hole there in the center part. Now, since these are plastic, you could use a glue gun to melt the center piece as well. Next, I'm going to take one of my dowels and I'm going to count 2 blocks in on the bottom of the basket and then just zip tie the dowel in place. I'm then going to repeat the process with another dowel on the other end of the basket. Next, I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to place it on the side of the basket. Now, you could do it either way, where you kind of place the handle outwards or you can place it inwards, depending on how much space you have. I'm going to go ahead and place the handle going outside. And then again, I just zip tied that into place. I kind of did 2 zip ties at the bottom and then 1 in the middle center. So now this is where we use the paint sticks or shims, and I'm going to use them to create wood panels on the sides of the wagon. Now I'm going to do this by gluing the wood sticks directly to the side of the basket using some E6000 glue. I'll put 1 strip up at the top and then leave a little space and add a second strip below that. Then I'll repeat the process on the other side. And then once I have both of the long sides on, I'm going to go ahead and just do that short side in the back. And this time I am going to cut the shims. But as you'll see, what's really another neat thing about the shims is that they're real easy to cut. So I'll go ahead and measure right on the piece and then just cut it with a regular pair of scissors. Next, I'm going to just go ahead and pop my tires on. And to do that, I'll just put the black piece on first. And then I am going to add a little E6000 to the rim of my white lid before placing that on top. And then I'm going to repeat that for all 4 tires. And I'm going to just pop that black piece on first and then the white piece on top. But then you'll see when I get to the other side, the dowel is going to be a little long. I didn't want to cut it at first because I want to make sure I had enough. So I figured I would place on all 4 of my tires and then just go back and cut down where needed. To decorate the basket, I'm going to use a garland that I bought last year at Michael's at end of season. It was only a few dollars. It was marked way, way down. And all I'm doing is wrapping the garland up and so that it's, to a size where it will fit into the back of the wagon. Then I'm going to use another piece from another garland that I also got at Michael's end of season last year and just add that to the middle just to fill it in, and then some berries that I also got end of season, and then a couple of these pumpkins, and then another little sprig of berries just to finish it off. And there we go. And now here is the finished project. Quick and easy and cute as a button. Along with being great porch decor, it would also make a wonderful centerpiece, although it is kind of large and measures about 14 inches across, and with the handle extended, it's about 22 inches long.